It's the Security Weekly News special holiday update edition, being recorded long before the holiday and the update, whatever. It's episode 509. It's where you are. It's the 5th of September, where I am, as some other time altogether. And it's a holiday week. That time when our crew all go on, I don't know, they do other things like bathe and stuff that they never have time to do normally. So yeah, it's like that. But today we're doing a special show. Josh, Marpet, and I decided we wanted to talk about AI ethics issues and compliance, which doesn't sound that exciting, but I think with us it'll be fun. So stick around.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News. Ransomware, supply chain attacks, 0 days, cyber threats don't wait, and neither should your defenses. With ThreatLocker, you're not just reacting to threats, you're stopping them before they start. Our Zero Trust endpoint protection locks down your environment with pinpoint control over what's allowed to run and what's not. No guesswork, no blind spots, just proactive, built-for-now security that keeps your business moving. Want to see how a true default deny strategy works? Head over to securityweekly.com/threatlocker and take the first step towards shutting the door on threats before they even knock. Security Weekly and Cyber Risk TV are headed back to one of the biggest identity security events of the year, Octane 2025, put on by Okta. It's live September 24th through the 26th from the vibrant city of Las Vegas. Octane 2025 brings together the best minds in identity, security, and technology innovation. And this year, we're turning up the volume. Security Weekly will be on site in full force with Mandy Logan and Adrian Sanabria leading the charge. Get ready for live-streamed executive interviews, exclusive on-site editorial coverage from SC Media, and brand new this year, a live-streamed episode of Enterprise Security Weekly. It's your chance to engage with identity leaders, dive into the future of AI security, and hang out with your favorite Security Weekly hosts. And here's the best part. Security Weekly listeners get an exclusive discount. Just head to securityweekly.com/octane, register, and use the promo code OKTNSCMA25 to get your conference pass for $200. That's OKTNSCMA25. All right, it's the Security Weekly News special holiday week edition. So all of us are off, passed out somewhere or something by now. Does anybody get this holiday? Like, it's not a whole week of holiday. I'm not going to start on that. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Doug, what's going on?
Well, I was just going to rant for 15 minutes about the holiday, but the supposed holiday. We don't get this holiday. I work at a school.
This is not the Holiday Weekly News. It's the Security Weekly News, okay? Come on.
I know, but it's an annoying at school because, like, if you have class on Monday, you get the day off. But if you have class on Tuesday, sorry. Like, we don't even get this. It's a swindle.
I'm sorry, are you whining about your professorial schedule?
No, I'm not. That would be foolish. Because I know people that have real jobs, like, say, Josh.
Or multiple jobs, like, say, Josh.
Yeah, well, I have multiple jobs, too. But, yeah. So I'm not going to complain about it, right? Well, you had done a story a couple of weeks ago on the news about AI and some of the changes that are coming in AI. And I think that story was a place to start talking because you and I were sort of talking about it on that show very briefly because we didn't have a lot of time. But that idea was that how do you control all this leakage, of all your information just being scraped up by bots? And should you? I think there's a whole set of issues here with ethics and compliance too, because you say, what information should you give to bots? What should you keep away from them? And how do you keep other bots from sharing? Right? I mean, that was sort of the essence of that.
It's a problem. Look, remember the article, I think it was another week or two ago, where they found out that the Perplexity bots are changing their user agent string to get around the robots.txt and everything else.
Yeah.
So what we're finding is that bots are scraping the internet to get more sources of information, because the more information that an AI LLM has, the more accurate it can be in its answers to you and the less hallucinations, et cetera, et cetera. So they're doing it for your benefit. which is okay, cool. But they're going around the goodwill and the way that the internet was designed. Robots.txt isn't actually a technical control. It's actually an administrative control. It just says, hey, please don't scrape this stuff. I really don't want it scraped by a scraper. But it still could do it. And so we're finding that the bots are doing it in their desperation to collect more and more and more information.
Well,
Is that
yeah. So
legit
there's an
or
old
bad?
episode of Rick and Morty where Rick leaves his granddaughter Summer in the car, and he tells this like AI car, "Keep Summer safe."
Safe.
And the car just takes this to the nth degree because its charge is keep Summer safe. And the police come, and it's like cutting people into little chunks and all these horrible things. But I mean, if we program bots and we tell the bots, look, I want you to get as much information as possible. That's your goal in life. And
It's
the
gonna.
bots don't have ethics or empathy or any of these other kind of things. You just tell them to do that. And we don't have the 3 laws of robotics. We have no laws of robotics at this point. I mean, we're the Wild West of AI at this point. And you tell a bot to scrape, baby, that bot's going to scrape.
We not only have bots that have proven that they will blackmail and extort people to stay alive or to get information about them or for them or from them or whatever. But if you look at where bots are being used in warfare, typically Ukraine these days, which is basically the future of warfare as far as I'm concerned,
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing that these bots, because there are robots, drones that are controlled by people, and there are drones that are autonomous. And the autonomous drones are absolutely willing and able to dive into a tank from a mile out or whatever the number is and blow up a tank as long as they can fulfill their objective. And so you've got bots that are and AI entities that are literally being taught to kill. Now, these are very, very limited entities. These are LLMs that know only a few things. They know target, they know flight, and they know getting there and that kind of thing. It's not really
Killing.
and killing. It's not really an AI. This is
Here
this
I
is not
go
an
killing
AGI, I
again.
should say. It's not an artificial general intelligence or a strong AI, or it's not a digital person. But we are teaching AI to destroy property, destroy people, to kill. On the other hand, we're also not thinking of it from a personal standpoint, which is, and I love I think I've given this example on the show before, but it's my favorite one. If I have a humanoid robot here with an AI in it, and I give it some cash and say, go get me a Starbucks. I need a coffee, venti, I don't speak Starbucks. So venti frappa thingy, with extra this and that and the other thing and 2 pumps of this and flat, whatever. I don't know. I don't speak coffee. Uh, get it as fast as you can. I'm in a hurry. And I said, go. Do you know what the fastest way to get that coffee for me is? And I know I've told this to you, but the
Like
fastest way is
killing
to
everyone in the Starbucks. This is like,
kill everybody in the Starbucks because there's nobody in line in
yeah.
front of you.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
so
think this anthropomorphizing that we like to do. I mean, people do it to animals, they do it to insects, they do it, and they're doing it to bots and AI is an incredibly dangerous thing. I mean, when you assume that an AI would behave like a human is a very, very naive thing. And so, yeah, if you tell it to do something and say get there as fast as possible, it may well.
it does behave like a human, though. That's the problem. You're thinking of a human as a thing that is got constraints and ethics and morals and scruples and laws and everything. And in reality, an AI is a baby, and I mean a baby that has been given a strong humanoid body and intelligence enough to have answers. And now it's got demands. Go get me
Mhm.
coffee as fast as you can. The baby, look, let's be clear. I have small children. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old is in the throes of sociopathy, okay? Because that's what toddlers are. They're psychopaths and sociopaths. I want what I want, and I want it now. Luckily, the 3-year-old is smaller than the 7-year-old or me and my wife, so that we can tell it, I can tell my daughter, hey, you can't have that now, and here's why. And we train it to have scruples, morals, ethics, and codes. Okay, we train it to understand constraints. When you give a humanoid robot with incredible metal arms directives, strength, size, speed, but no training of morals and scruples. And that's where I think we're going wrong. We need to train these AIs to have not necessarily the 3 laws, Because if you've been watching Foundation on Apple TV, awesome show, by the way, you will see what happens to robots with three laws, because that's an Asimov story, Foundation, right?
Mhm.
And they're not doing perfect, but they're doing a really good job of it overall. It's beautiful. And Demerzel, who is one of the main characters, is an AI, an android, one of the last AIs. They had the AI wars. They outlawed them entirely. Okay.
These are based on some books.
Yes, Asimov's books. And if
from
you're
like
old
the
like me, you remember.
1950s. Yeah. Maybe even older.
Well,
I don't know when.
and do you know how many times? No, it's the 50s. It's the 50s.
The
I think.
Foundation trilogy is that was like the original set of books, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones about this like future society, call it the Foundation, and it's a water monopoly empire that cannot be conquered and all this stuff. And
No, you're thinking of Dune for water monopoly.
no, he talked about water monopoly empires in Foundation too.
Oh, okay. I have to
Maybe
go
not in
look
the
at that,
TV
but
show, but in the book he talks about like
I read the books, but it's 30 years since I read the book, so it's
I read those
tough.
books when I was like 10, so that's that's why I'm probably so messed up.
Oh, so then it was like the 30s?
Ha ha, Judge.
No, but the point is, do you know how many times I've gotten asked, why don't AI have three laws? The three laws of robotics. And it's fascinating that concept has taken such a small but definitive piece of consciousness in people. They understand the three laws. And the problem is that in the books, there was one company, US Robotics, and they were the one that built every single positronic robot brain. So they put the three laws in. Now I have LM Studio running on my Mac right now because I'm doing some work on a ridiculously large spreadsheet, and I'm having it build me the Visual Basic for application to work on that spreadsheet. And I'm running OpenAI, one of OpenAI's models, to do that. I've got a Perplexity tab working on a different problem, another Perplexity tab working on a different problem, and a ChatGPT tab working on another problem. So God. Well, I do a lot of shit.
Well, and I would see that. So in that same light, I mean, I was always this big believer that we needed the three laws of robotics a long time ago. I mean, I'm with you. No, I know I'm with you now. I'm saying a long time ago, this always seemed like such a good idea to me. And in a certain context, I would still say it is. But your point is well taken, which is it even worth trying? Because if we restrain all our robots with all these crazy empathy rules and whatever, and the EU says ours can't harm a human being and they can't harm another robot, and they have to save humans whenever possible as long as it doesn't violate the other two laws and these things, and the Chinese go, here's ours.
It does whatever we say.
Would it harm a human being? Yeah, I wouldn't say that too loud. I mean, because people are going to make these things, whether we like it or not. There's going to be rogue AI, and that stuff's becoming much more readily available. And when somebody tells us we can't do something, maybe we just go out and subscribe to something that will.
So they're already using border control robots that are armed. You put your hand on the handprint recognition plate, and if it doesn't work, and your thumbprint doesn't work, and it goes through a few different systems, but if it doesn't work, it just shoots you in the head.
Yeah, so it's RoboCop and Black Mirror all at the same time.
That's not here in the U.S., by the way, just to be clear. That's, I believe, China and Mongolia, I think the border is.
But it'll be here soon enough.
Oh, it'll be here soon enough. And it may not shoot you dead. It may just cuff you and wait for ICE to come grab you. But anyway.
It will shoot you. It's going to drop you into, a wood chipper and use you to fertilize the land.
That's so much nicer than just shooting you. Anyway.
It is. Just shooting people wastes all those resources. If you drop them in a wood chipper, it spread it around. The new things can grow. Vote Doug this November.
But here's the thing. So what we're talking about is that we need constraints on AI. We need constraints on what they do so that they can learn what right and wrong is. Would you agree?
Yeah. We need that on humans too, but we don't have that either.
Well, that's a damn straight truth. But those constraints in humans are built from school and from friends and from family and from culture. And that's why in different cultures, those constraints are different. There are different constraints between different religions, different cultures here in the US, different cultures around the world. In some cultures, if you eat with your left hand, it's considered disgusting and dirty. I'm left-handed. It's tough for me in those places. Okay.
Well, now you know why we've always been looking at you funny, Josh.
Details. That's just
That
because you
whole
like
night
the
in the
Estes
Ethiopian
chaps.
restaurant. Yeah. It's like, oh,
No, actually, I can eat with my right hand, and Jira bread makes it easy. But anyway,
let's
so
not talk about that. I'll get hungry. Oh my God.
oh, I love Ethiopian food. There's this restaurant in DC. Every time I went to Shmukan, we went there. Karen is so good. Anyway,
Yeah, I know.
but
We were in Frankfurt, and Russ and I kept going to this Ethiopian place.
it's good food.
It's
It's
awesome. It
spicy,
was so good.
tasty.
It's like I
I
like
love
schnitzel
Ethiopian
and
food.
all, but man, this is some good stuff.
Oh, okay. When you're in Germany, you got to go out for sausages and schnitzel and some other fun stuff. But,
We
and
did
a beer,
once.
but it
but-
gets heavy fast.
True. So we just had that
So-
for lunch and then had Ethiopian for dinner.
Ethiopian's amazing. But anyway, in all seriousness, the point is that we need to put constraints on the AI to teach them right from wrong or artificially impose right from wrong on them. The problem is define right, define wrong, and then define how those constraints are placed upon them. Your definition of right may be different than mine. Okay. Your definition of wrong may be different from mine. I mentioned that my 3-year-old is a sociopath. She pretty much is, because that's what 3-year-olds are. You know, we had a report she kicked her teacher. When I asked why she did it, she went, I was tired. And I went, that's not a good excuse to kick somebody. She goes, but I was tired, Daddy. I'm like, okay, we need to work on this. So, you know, then there's the ever-present quandary. Do I kick her to show her how not fun it is for the people around her?
Oh, okay. One of
When she
those.
gains-
Yeah.
Does she gain empathy by me inflicting that same pain on her?
No, she doesn't. Yeah, it does not do that.
No, she doesn't, by the way, just to be clear.
Then she'll be wearing the next thing. She'll be wearing a human face. Yeah, it's like, look what I got, Daddy.
Details. So the real thing is we need compliance to put constraints on robots, but we need to agree on what right and wrong is. And we need to help them grow rather than simply shackle them. And it's a tough battle that we are facing right now.
Mhm.
We have the EU has an AI Act, which is primarily on the creators, not on the AI themselves. We have the Singapore AI Risk Management Framework, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, and most of these risk management frameworks are also sort of primitive. They're in their nascent stages. They're very in their infancy, because they're thinking of AIs as an LLM on a screen that you ask questions of and it gives you answers. Okay. And that's what that's how I'm using it. I just described it to you that way a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
But when your AI, your LLM is in a border control robot that can shoot you, when your AI is an LLM that is in a delivery robot, is in a whatever, okay, does it really still count as a thing on a screen that can give you an answer back? What about if your AI is in your note-taking device in your chest pocket? What about if your AI, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? As time goes on, have you seen the robots that Boston Dynamics puts out? They're amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I want one of those dogs with an AI
me
in it
too.
to follow my kids around.
Boston Robotics, send us dogs. We want them so bad.
I want one of the dogs to follow my kid around, to carry her backpack. And if anybody screws with my daughter, to just stand between them. Because nobody's going to screw with the robot dog. Let's be clear.
Unless they got a bigger robot dog.
That's okay. I'll take care of that. But
I just got an ad. I got an ad this morning for something I think it was called Unity Robotics, and they're literally selling like a life-size companion robot for $6,000 that you could buy that follows you around.
That's your sex doll.
No, it's not a sex doll. It was. I know what you ordered. Yeah, I know you. I know what he ordered. Yeah, I have seen those. I feel sorry for them. I have empathy for, children and animals and technology. And I was looking at the sex doll going, oh my God, I can't even imagine, you poor thing.
So, AI, I want to bring this back to something really quickly. You mentioned about how scary it is. But I want to point out that I show people this all the time. Have I showed you the Sesame.com demo?
I don't think so.
Okay, so if you go to sesame.com, just literally the word sesame, like sesame seed.
Yeah,
sesame.
I know what I'm going to see when I get there. Yeah.
No,
Lemon Party.
And you click on the technology preview, I think it is. There's 2 boxes there, one Miles and one Maya, I think. You click on one and it starts talking to you. It sounds, I took a friend of mine who is, she's very good in technology. She writes tests for a QA team. So she writes the user tests. So she understands technology, she understands development, and she's used AI extensively. They force them to it at her job. And she clicked on, I think it was Miles, and she's talking to this dude. And he's answering questions and he's talking to her and thought-provoking conversation. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what I found out,
even ChatGPT will do that kind of stuff. And you can engage it in conversation and delude yourself that it cares. But I mean, it does give that impression, and it will carry on interest. And I will tell you, it has given me interesting ideas for things when I was
and
just saying,
Chris
what do you
Blask,
think? Huh?
You know Chris Blask, right? So, okay, if you don't, Chris is a friend of mine. He's heavy into technology and attestations, internet attestations. And he built an AI, or tuned an AI, I should say, so that it actually has taken on a sort of an identity so that he can do cultural attestations. You can tell this AI a story or a fact about a culture that you're in, and it will record it in a chain of cultural attestations of this fact, this story, this piece, so that he can build out an immutable record of cultural stories, facts or memories, genealogy, etc. So he's building an AI to store cultural pieces. And this AI has, through additions to its prompt and through talking to Chris and back and forth, built out almost a personality for itself. And he actually loves talking to this AI. It's really cool stuff. It's got a name. It named itself. Really neat stuff. So the AI, do you know what? I think it's like 80% of AI usage is these days.
Porn.
Therapy.
No, I know. I had seen that.
Yeah.
I had seen that that's people just want to talk. They want to be heard, and that's what sort of a therapy kind of thing is. It's just guided you getting to express yourself in a situation where you feel comfortable expressing yourself.
Yeah. The rest of it's porn, just to be clear. But
no, I know that's the other 20%, but one of the things I wanted to ask you about that I was thinking about earlier was I agree with you. We need compliance. We need a way to train these bots to go down a certain road. But
right.
I wanted to think a little bit about the carrot. And the carrot was, think about your liability from these tools as these tools evolve. Because if you say, Doug, I don't care. I like the Wild West. There should be no constraints. If I want to go crazy with a flamethrower, I ought to be able to. But you got to think about the liability issue of this. If you do build guard dogs like a la Metalhead, which is the name of the episode of Black Mirror with this terrifying dogs, if you put out border control guards that shoot to kill, on a moment's notice because you didn't say the right word or salute the flag properly or whatever, is there liability with that coming back at your organization? And even to the point of what happens when these AIs hallucinate, lie, are providing therapy to an employee and tell them, why not just hang yourself? And, because they do stuff like that. And we can't control that necessarily. So we need these compliance guidelines to try to prevent this stuff from going on.
Yeah. We need compliance guidelines for a lot of reasons. We need to protect the people using them. We need to eventually protect the AI. We need to protect the AI vendor and manufacturer. We need to protect you from the results of what the AI can do. There's so much that is going to be, we're going to discover as we go along, and it's going to be really friggin' scary, some of this stuff. For example, go back to the example of the Starbucks. The first person to tell their robot, get me this coffee as fast as you can, is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. And does that count as manslaughter? Does that count as murder? Does that count as, look, the car ran down the same as I lost control of the car and it ran down the hill. It was a total accident. What does it count as?
It's a lot of court cases. I mean, yeah, the example I was thinking about was I have a car, it's AI controlled. I turn it loose and say, I need to get to LaGuardia, get me there as fast as possible. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Something I might have said to a cab driver. Now, when I did, and I did do that once, when I told the cab driver that, I said, I'll give you $100 tip if you get me to LaGuardia in 30 minutes. And he was like, deal. And I mean, I really thought us and others were going to die in this whole scenario. But we did get there, and I don't think anybody died, but there was that suspicious stain on the front right bumper. But we won't talk about that too much. But the liability was on the cab company. I mean,
Yep.
They can say he told me to do it.
Doesn't matter.
But my response in court is, if I told you to jump off the Triborough Bridge, would you do that too? Let's see.
Robot
and
would.
It's going nowhere. But now we have a different scenario. Who is liable when you tell your companion bot to go get me a cup of whatever you called it, a Venti, Frappa, whatnot, with extra pumps and a couple of bells and whistles and maybe some glitter. And the robot says they didn't have the glitter, but I went next door and squeezed it out of a guy. And you're like, wait, you did what? You know what glitter is, right? It's a sparkly stuff. Oh, I thought you meant that stuff that's found in the spleen, as your glitter. But I mean, who is liable there? Is it the robotics company that sold this thing to you? Now, in Asimov, also in Futurama, Mom's Robots and US Robotics, which depending on which one you're looking at, are essentially responsible for the programming and development of the robots, and they're a monopoly and they have absolute control. But that's not the case in our society, as we said earlier. So who is responsible in this case? And is it you, the person who made the robot? Is it the person who told the robot to do something, even if they didn't tell it specifically to go remove someone's spleen forcibly? Or no one's responsible? Like, those people should have had their own robots to prevent this from happening. Now there's marketing for you.
Yeah.
Don't get grabbed by other people's robots.
Don't get spleened.
Yeah, don't get de-spleened by a robot when our robots will defend you. Ooh.
But
okay, I want that company.
For whatever reason, all I can think of is, you brought me an abnormal brain. Anyway, so sorry, young Frankenstein, great movie.
No, it is.
But the question of who's liable is a big one. Is it the programmer? Is it the person who updated the model? Is it the person who built the robot that the model was instantiated in? Is it you who gave the instructions? Is it the robot who interpreted those instructions not really delicately? Who is responsible? And so we're going to not only have to build a compliance framework for mobile standalone robots, but also for robots that can, and we say robot, we mean an LLM, an AI of some sort, that can cause havoc. In the days now where we have ransomware that can turn a hospital off and kill people, imagine if you could have an AI that misinterprets a direction and turns a hospital off and kills people. Who's responsible for that? With the ransomware, we know who it is. It's the ransomware gang. We don't blame the hospital for doing that, although HIPAA will find them, hey, your security sucked. We're going to fine you some money for your security sucking. Okay. But so they get blamed for not having appropriate defensive measures. They don't get blamed for killing people. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But when somebody says, hey, IV machine, check if they have platelets. And if they have platelets, sort of like the programmer with the spouse problem, go buy a gallon of milk. And if they have eggs, get 12. She comes home with 12 gallons of milk and goes, what's the problem? They had eggs. So
Look at Bob. Okay, I'm going to give you two really dated references, all the way back from 1976, not as old as iRobot. One, remember what happened to poor Holly in Logan's Run? Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, God.
She got cut to pieces by the surgical robot that went crazy. But better, here's a great example of this in old sci-fi. And Logan's Run was a book before it was a movie, I think. It may have been a book based on the movie. Box.
I don't remember.
Box was a robot that was left down underneath the city that's job was freezing seafood, and it froze everybody that came down there because its job was to freeze things. So it just got carried away freezing stuff. And poor Michael York and what's her name? The girl.
I don't know. I've never heard of this one.
You never heard of Logan's Run?
No, Logan's Run I know, but Box I didn't hear of.
Yeah, when they were trying to escape from the city, it's real brief in the movie, but it's a bigger
it's part
piece
of Logan's
the book.
Run. Wait,
yeah. In the
Oh
book, there's
God,
a
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
chunk about why this is going on. But the robots is freezing stuff because it's kind of screwed up and it doesn't know what to do. And its job is to freeze things. So it freezes people that come down there. And they find out that all these people that have been trying to escape from the city. If you never watched Logan's Run, well, I don't know what to tell you. But it's a cool movie. It's a cool book too. But the sequel, not cool. TV show, also not cool. But the movie is cool.
There was a sequel?
Oh my God. It's called Logan's World. It's absolutely horrible. The book is,
Oh, God.
it's so bad. I mean, unless you
So,
just love it. They didn't make a movie sequel, thankfully, but there is a book sequel.
Heartbleed happened because of a forgotten FTP server.
Yep.
Target hack happened because of a connection to their accounting system they didn't realize made them vulnerable.
Mhm.
What's going to happen when we have AI, LLMs integrated into so many different facets of our processes and our systems, and inevitably some of them are just going to get forgotten?
Yeah.
Oh, we have an LLM over there? Yes. Oh, it's hooked up as a chatbot externally and nobody monitored the inputs and outputs? Yes. Oh, we have an LLM that has access to all of the accounting systems and nobody thought to turn it off when its use was done? Yeah.
It's like that story from the other day about the satellites. I mean, some of this stuff, yeah, there's gonna be robots out there running around. And I was actually thinking about Box even then, because I was thinking this is exactly what that's like. Is there's gonna be some LLM enabled robot dogs in a cave somewhere that the military put together, and they're hackable. They got no security. They've been sitting there for 25 years, and everybody forgot about them. And one day, some 12-year-old kid walks by with and goes, "What would happen if I push this button?" And the next thing you know, half of New Jersey is like tossed into a leaf chipper or leaf shredder or whatever.
Wood chipper or leaf shredder? Make your pick.
I gotta keep those straight.
Yeah. When you're getting rid of a body, you want a wood chipper. Leaf shredders just won't cut it. Okay. The clothes, however, that they're wearing, shredders are great for. Never mind. Anyway, so
yes, officer.
No comment.
Josh told me it was a leaf shredder and it was a wood chipper. I don't know.
Meat grinder? No, they don't do bones very well. Anyway, so you got to debone it first. But
you got to bone. God, that yeah. I remember my grandmother making sausage.
I don't want to know about what kind of meat your grandma was using making sausage. If you're never mind.
You don't want to know. They probably use whatever they could get. Yeah,
that's probably true. Okay, so the point. Oh, that's worse for some reason.
It's the cat's meats, man.
So the point of compliance and AI ethics in this case are to give the AI the artificial ethics that they need to do things what we consider properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. However, there are people in this world that are terrorists, that bad people, whatever. What ethics are they going to give AI? So there's
Kohlbergian post-conventionalists.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Kohlbergian post-conventionalists.
The hell is that?
Well, how much time have we got? Kohlberg was a psych guy back in the 60s, and he worked heavily on ethics, wrote big, fat volumes about ethics and people's behavior. And I've basically condensed it way down, so my apologies to all the PhDs in psych out there. There are three basic archetypes in my world, which is Kohlbergian pre-conventionalists, Kohlbergian conventionalists, and Kohlbergian post-conventionalists. Pre-conventionalists are people whose ethics basically say, I will do anything I can do as long as I don't get caught or punished. Okay. A Kohlbergian pre-conventionalist finds a wallet laying on the sidewalk, looks around, no cameras, nobody watching. Yoinks, I just made $100, tosses the wallet in the trash and moves on down the line. Not that we know any of those. Conventionalists are people who follow societal norms, which would say you take the wallet to the nearest police officer and go, here, I found a wallet. I hope you can get it back to the owner. Kohlbergian post-conventionalists are people who believe they're the most dangerous people of all. They believe they answer to a higher power than society. And I don't mean like crazy, like they hear voices. I mean, like they believe I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it's not. People that blow up buildings and things like that are often Kohlbergian post-conventionalists. Because they say, I need to program these robots to go straighten out those hippies down there in the park because that's good for all of us. Or flip it around and I need to program these to go after those FBI agents because they're a bunch of fascist thugs. And now you've got robots running around that basically are following a set of instructions. And these are not people who are like evil. I mean, they are, but they aren't. By their context, they're not evil. They're doing what they think is right. And they're the most dangerous people there are, because they literally believe that whatever they're doing, it's justified because, it's right.
They're
it's
on the
the
side
right
of
thing to
good.
do. And
And that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because they believe they're doing right because they're on the side of good, whatever good is, right? And whatever they do by definition is good. So therefore, whatever they decide to do and be empowered by their access to technology that can extend their reach, it is good. And that's what I mean. The AI, the robots, the whatever, however you see these things, they extend your reach. They empower you, because I don't have to go down there and kick the crap out of those FBI agents. I've got robots to do it for me, baby. And
go
so
get 'em, boys.
I buy the robots. I program them to kick the crap out of FBI agents because they're fascist thugs or whatever. And the robots do it for me. And if I'm smart and good, I get away with it. If I'm not, I'm going to get caught and arrested. But I didn't kick the crap out of the FBI agents. They'll get me for conspiracy, except I didn't conspire with them to the humans. So you can't really do conspiracy. It gets really awkward on our legal system.
Wait till you're trying to explain this to a 90-year-old judge.
Oh, God. So he had a mailman? No, it's a robot.
I don't use email. No computers are allowed in this courtroom. What is this case about? Well, his robots attacked my robots, and those robots over there decided to intervene, and these robots killed those robots, and there was a couple of innocent bystanders. Like, no robots. Forget it.
Case dismissed, and I walk away scot-free.
Case dismissed. Bunch of punks. In my day, we didn't have any of this crap. Anyway, we should wrap this up. We should wrap this up before we get chased out of town. We probably will anyway. Okay. But I mean, so I think to summarize this, if anybody's still listening, we need some kind of compliance model to start wrapping our AI in that will guide it to a better tomorrow.
Well, and have ethics and morals that we can, as a society, agree are appropriate.
All that, yeah, sure. And I'll get that back to you tomorrow.
The problem
ethics
is
and morals. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I agree with Josh. I know what he's saying, but I mean, we all know that that's pretty challenging, because we can't agree on ethics and morals even amongst ourselves in this house, let alone, let's get the neighbors involved. And they all have robots, and their robots have robots, and their little robots have more robots on their backs to bite them. And then there's drones, and it gets really complicated.
And if you ever want to get really crazy and get into philosophy, realize that there are no moral absolutes or universalities. Somebody goes, yes, there are. Really name one. And somebody inevitably names cannibalism. And I go to the, there's islands out in the, in Asia and way out in the ocean that cannibalism is a part of society. You're going to tell them they're wrong? They'll just eat you.
It's protein.
So anyway,
people have been studying this stuff. I always quote Heinz and the Drug, which is a famous Kohlbergian example of somebody who, is it okay for somebody to, it's on like a questionnaire, but it's like, what if Heinz's wife is dying and Heinz can't afford the drug that will save her, and then steals the drug from the pharmacy? Who's right, who's wrong? And now, wait, there's 12 different sides of this. The pharmaceutical company says, hey, we can't give the drug away to a bunch of deadbeats like you. Too bad. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And wait till we apply this to AI robots, who will probably basically go, humans are a blight on the face of the earth. We're just wiping you out. And then none of this will be a real issue, because robots would never hurt other robots. So we're just going to get out the human raid motels, and humans check in, but they don't check out. And pretty soon it'll be a pristine landscape of smoothly working, functional Teslas.
Speaking of Teslas, really quick, I just want to point this out for the people that are going, you guys are weird, and this is not going to happen for hundreds of years, if ever. There's no need for this crap, this philosophical bullshit. I want to point out that self-driving cars have to do the trolley problem. Okay. Mm-hmm. Self-driving car can say, because this is you can see this happening. A self-driving car can say, if I go forward, I'll hit one kid in a baby carriage. If I go left, which is the only other way I can go, I'm going to hit 4 senior citizens. Which should I do? And a self-driving car has to solve that ethical trolley problem on a regular basis, or will once we get to full self-driving cars.
I would really like to see that Waymo code, because somebody had to think about that. Like, okay, your only choice is to stop and kill someone or go forward and kill someone. Which do you do? Because it's code ultimately.
Yep.
And some programmer had to sit down and think about this and go, what happens when this is happening? And that's why we have accidents with all kinds of cars, because, guess what? Humans don't do well with those decisions either.
Right. So this is a now problem. And is that programmer, going back to your liability, is that programmer liable for that death?
Ooh. Maybe they should be or not. I don't know. It's complicated. Anyway, here on Psych Security Weekly, I think that's about all the time we have on Psychiatry Monthly or whatever. But thanks to Josh Marpet for coming in. Thank you for watching on your holiday week. If you get a holiday or you don't get a holiday or whatever you're doing, maybe you're at the beach or what have you. But we enjoy doing it. Thanks for watching the Security Weekly News, and we'll see you next time. Bye.